Welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. It's been a while since we've had the developer office hours, and we have some really exciting updates to share with you. But first, let me introduce everyone on stage. Today with me, I have Jim, who is the head of community team, and myself. Jim, sorry. You want to say
Hello,
hi?
everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining me, Jim. And myself, Emil, I'm a developer community manager. Just a reminder that please make sure to follow us on all our socials. We are on Twitter as Autonomous Net. We have, of course, a Discord, as you know. We have a very buzzing Telegram channel. And of course, the forum, which is available as a great resource for all the announcements, for all the updates, and also for the peer-to-peer support. We have a really packed and exciting agenda for the day. First, I'm going to introduce a new big developer documentation update. Then we're going to celebrate developer efforts. Then we're going to talk a bit about the Hacker Month 2 plans. Then Jim is going to provide us with the roadmap update and spill the beans about what's coming with the launch and with the Autonomous Network. We're briefly going to go over it and remind about the ongoing Space Race Platometer contest. And we'll then, of course, do the usual Q&A session. So feel free to drop your question during the call, and we'll get to them during the Q&A part of the call. But without further ado, let's get started. As for the developer docs update, we have some fantastic news to share with all of you. After a lot of hard work, we're proud to announce that the updated developer documentation is now live and available in the Autonomous documentation. We cannot wait to walk you through it and show you all of the updates, and it will make your development experience smoother and more. Let me just share my screen so I can walk you through the documentation. Thanks, Jim. Let me make it slightly larger for you. Hopefully you can see that okay. So on the our documentation website, we have a section which is developed, and I first want to point your attention to the new Getting Started page. On that page, all developers have multiple options to build on top of the Autonomous Network and on top of our different domains. Of course, first, our signature significant Auto SDK, which is the comprehensive toolkit that simplifies development on the Autonomous Network. And the Auto SDK is smartly organized into multiple packages, and it has a modular structure. So we have the Auto Utils, which is a package which have all the utility to interact with the network. We have the Auto Consensus, which have all the functions to interact with the consensus chain, Auto ID to do the same with the Auto ID domain, etc. What's great about this structure is that it allows you to only import the functions that you need for your specific use case. It abstracts much of the complexity typically associated with the blockchain development through the high-level functions, which makes building decentralized application and services much more efficient. And of course, for those of you who don't know, we still have our Nova, our EVM domain, which remains a core part for our ecosystem. With Nova, you can easily write smart contracts using Solidity, just as you would on Ethereum. On top of that, if you are familiar with any of the tooling like Remix, Truffle, Hardhat, or any tool, you name it, you can easily use it with the Autonomous Network. It's fully compatible with Nova. And of course, it results in an absolute seamless transition. Whenever you build on the Ethereum or on any of the EVM compatible networks, you can easily transition to the Autonomous Network without the steep learning curve. And of course, by building on top of the Autonomous Network, you get all the best features. Of course, you're utilizing you're sharing the security of the consensus chain. Autonomous network is one of the most decentralized networks out there. Right now, I think we are like on the Gemini 3H, we've been 10 times more decentralized than Ethereum. So I'm just gonna imagine what's gonna happen once we hit the mainnet. We're gonna be even more decentralized, and of course, we're super scalable and secure. Of course, we are building and working on a lot of bridges. We have the XDM, so the interaction with other EVM compatible networks and non-EVM networks is going to be a breeze. And as for the RPC endpoints, we currently have like a list of the active RPC endpoints for the consensus chain, for NOAA, and for the other ID. Now let's take a look at the other SDK docs. As I mentioned, the key features for the SDK is, of course, its modular architecture, that it's very easy to use and it's pretty flexible. And of course, as everything that we built at the Autonomous Network, it's open source. We are thriving on your contributions, on your code suggestions, on your reviews, and all of that. So feel free to go to our GitHub, check out the code, and yeah, feel free to browse the code. Feel free to make any contributions and comment on all of the developments of the SDK. It's conveniently divided into packages like the AutoUtils, AutoConsensus, AutoDrive, and AutoID. And the requirements are very basic, very simple. So all you need to have is the Node.js version 14 or higher, or use the yarn or npm in order to install the package. We also have documentation available for each of the modules, and documentation is structured in a way that first it introduces you on what are the benefits of using this exact module and what functions, in what cases you might need to use this exact module. Then it's gonna walk you through the installation and how to use npm or yarn in order to install the package. It will show you some of the examples on how to import the functions from the package. And then it will provide you with a list of the available functions. So basically, it will describe you what are the function signatures, what's the function description, and what's you're gonna get in case you use the function from the package. At the very bottom for each of the pages, you will see a bunch of usage examples. These examples are very simple, very basic, but it's more than enough to get you started with learning more about the Autonomous Network, with learning more about what tools are available for you as a developer. And this will be the core for building more decentralized and complex applications. Now I'm gonna switch to my other window. And together, we're just gonna do a very short and easy example of how you can utilize the SDK. So I'm just gonna share my VS Code window. Hopefully you can see it okay. So that's the empty test.js file. So first, what we need to do, we need to, of course, install the SDK. So what I will do is do the npm I. I'm going to type the Autonomous, and I'm going to specify the module that I'm going to be using. In this case, for the demo, I'll be using two modules. First is the AudioUtils. And the second one I'm going to be using is the AutoConsensus.
Emil, could you zoom the screen a little bit, please, just for the recording?
Yeah, of course.
Is that going to be awkward?
Let me just... yeah, it was a bit weird, but I think it's going to be fine. Can you see it any better right now? It's almost maxed out on my screen.
Okay.
Okay, hopefully you can see that clear enough. But let me know, and maybe we can think of some other options. So now with the two packages installed, let me just quickly glance over the package.json. You'll see that both dependencies are here. And since we'll be using the import statement, make sure to specify the type as a module and the package.json. Now let's start building. First, let's build the very simple function, which is gonna access the balance of the account of one of the accounts on the network. So first, I'm gonna do import. The first function I'm gonna need is the activate function. And this function lives inside the Autonomys auto utils. And another function I will need is the account function, which I'm going to import from the Autonomys auto consensus. Then, since we're going to be using the API call, all the code is asynchronous. So I'm going to write the async function. It doesn't take any of the arguments.
Emil, I'm not seeing. Are you putting code? I can just see a screen with 3 export.
Okay. Yeah, I'm putting the code. So let me just try resharing the screen.
Yeah,
I have. To be fair, I have a lot of code tabs open. So hopefully I'm sharing the right one.
Let us know in the chat if you can see. Okay, so I can see an async function now.
All right. Yeah. So sorry about that. But I think I'm sharing the right screen, so maybe it's one of the Discord bots. Okay. So let me briefly just retrace a few steps that I did before. So first, I imported I installed the packages. So I did the npmi at autonomous /autoutils to install the autoutils package, and I did the same for the auto consensus. Then I made sure that these packages appeared on my package.json. Of course, it means that the installation is done correctly, and I changed the type for the module at package.json because we need to import the functions at the test.js, and I imported 2 functions from the packages. First one I'm going to be using is the activate, and the second one is the account from the Autonomys auto consensus package. And right now I'm writing the asynchronous function in order to get the balance, and I'll make sure to put an extra set of braces here in order to execute it right away. So first we're gonna need to create the API connection, and I'm gonna await the activate function. The activate function takes 1 argument, which is the network ID, and the network ID in our case is going to be Gemini 3H. And I think I'm missing these here. So that's why it's complaining. So as I mentioned, activate function is connected to the API network. So now we have the API available in the rest of the function. The second one, I'm going to introduce the constant account data. We're also going to await this one. And in this case, I'm going to be using the account function. And the account function takes 2 arguments. First is the API. That's the connection which we've just created with the Gemini 3H network. And it takes the wallet. So I'm just going to go briefly to the sub wallet and copy my wallet address. Okay, so that's my wallet address. And now I'm just going to console the log a few constants to see whether the function is working as I expect. So first I'm going to do the nonce, which is going to be account data.nonce. I'm also going to do another one for the free balance. Which is going to be account data, data structure inside of it, and I believe it's free. And also, I'm going to check whether there is any of the reserved balance. So that's something which might be used for, let's say, like staking or anything which is not available for you to transfer. So it's going to be under account data.reserved.
I hate to be a backseat coder, Emil, but I think where you've got the interpolation there, do you have the second backtick for the nonce and the reserve balance? Should it be at the end?
Yep.
I think you've got it just after nonce and just after reserve balance. There you go.
Yep.
Got your back.
No, yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah. All right. So, and now we're gonna just try to run the code to see if there is any other typos Seems like there is none because we've got the response. So the nonce is 16. We've had I have some available balance from farming on the Gemini 3H. And it seems like I'm not taking anything because the reserve balance is 0. Awesome. So that's how easy it is to use the AutoSDK in order to get information about the balance. And I'm just gonna spend a few more minutes on writing the second function. Let's see how easy it is to check what's the total issuance on the network for the Gemini 3H. So once again, I'm gonna write an asynchronous function. So I'm gonna introduce another constant, total. And for this one, we're gonna await, but before that, I'm gonna import another function first, which is the total issuance. I think every time I'm typing the code, when I know that someone is watching, my fingers just become so unflexible that it gets too much harder to type the code. Yeah, I'm really sorry about it. Probably something that I just need to get used to. And we're gonna await the total issuance for the, and I'm gonna provide one argument, which is the Gemini 3H, which is the ID of the network. And I'm just gonna add another console log statement with the total issuance. I think I got the backtick right this time with the total. Right, let's try to run the code. Yeah, and now we've got the total issuance for the network. Yeah, I know these two examples, they're very simple. And of course, to build large and complex application, you likely need to use multiple different modules. And of course, there is still like a learning curve, but I really inspire you to browse through the code, to browse through the documentation, to take a look at already what's available, and make any feature requests in case you see that any of the functionality that you might want to see in the Auto SDK is missing. Yeah, really excited to share the developer documentation update with all of you guys and cannot wait for you to test it out. Yeah, now it's over to you, Jim. Thank you very much.
Amazing, Emil. So I can't believe how easy it is now to query on-chain data. You saw it there. It's a couple of lines of code. That is astounding. I see we have Mark in the audience as well. Mark's a bit of an expert here as well. He's providing more feedback in the chat there, how you can connect to your local node. So you don't have to use like Gemini 3H. Despite us having that as an easy way to just access the network, you can specify your own endpoint, of course. Yeah, amazing. And yeah, the developer documentation is absolutely excellent, Emil. I'm really pleased with how it looks, and it's a testament to the great work you've done there. Okay, so let's celebrate some developer efforts because we love seeing community contributions to our repositories. So much so, in fact, that we run an ongoing contribution contest, which has a generous reward pool of up to 1,000 USDC each month. You can find details over on the forum if participating interests you. There are some rules and restrictions you should take note of on that forum post, but the contest covers a number of repositories. So let's take a look at some of the contributions that have caught our eye recently. First up, we want to shine our spotlight on, I'm going to say tedious. Apologies if I'm murdering your username there, but while you may be tedious in name, I can see that it's certainly not in nature because we have seen a steady stream of discussion and contributions from Tedious on GitHub. And their latest merge pull request is no exception. It's clear that your understanding of the monorepo code and protocol architecture goes beyond the superficial. And this latest PR to remove the unique record binary heap shows both skill and insight. Other pull requests from Tedious have implemented significant enhancements, cleared up technical debt, and improved memory usage and performance. So real impact being delivered there. Actually, I'm just going to drop a link quickly to the contest here. And I'm also going to drop a link to the pull request that I'm referring to. It's very in-depth if you want to take a look. Next, we want to give a shout out to the first of our wonderful ambassadors. Bing Bang was on the call earlier. I think he's still there. Has introduced French translations to the Space Acres UI. One of our core values at Autonomous is to ensure as low a barrier to farming as possible, and language is one of those barriers. We have an ongoing translation contest, which we're in the process of revamping right now, and at the moment there is a special prize available for helping us with Mandarin translations. We really want to help our Chinese community out. Again, thank you, Bing Bang, for your contribution. And if you want to check out what Bing Bang's, hey Bing Bang, yeah, I see you in the chat there. What Bing Bang, what a Space Acres translation, UI translation PR looks like. Check out the link there. Our second ambassador, who deserves an extra special thanks and acknowledgement, is the one, the only Vexar. You submitted a frankly astounding 18 pull requests to our documentation last month. This is the longest and biggest streak of contributions we've seen in Autonomous history. Your efforts have significantly improved our documentation website, making them more accessible and comprehensive for everyone. Real influence on our ability to serve our community, which we absolutely love to see. As there are so many PRs, please check the full list here. It's quite a read. And we know, of course, that you've not stopped there. And I'm sure we'll be back celebrating your contributions again before long. Of that crop, of those 18 last month, I think my personal favourite is the port forwarding guide refresh, which has simplified what was quite a complicated page. Sirs, we salute you all, as well as everyone who took the time to help us out last month. Okay, in addition to code updates, we've seen great engagement with our documentation translation initiative, with a collective 11,799 words across 4 languages being achieved, thanks to our multilingual community. Remember, there's also a monthly USDC prize for most words translated. Full details are over on the forum. And our list of community tools grew to 13 last month with the release of Spaceport by Alex Hake, again in the audience today, who produces content under the name Hake Hardware on YouTube and Substack. We recently had a lovely chat with Alex on Farmer Office Hours, a recording of which you can find on the Autonomous YouTube channel. It's in the Farmer Office Hours playlist. Please do check out this comprehensive monitoring framework. We're really excited to see where it goes, and we want to encourage contributions to the repository. Shout outs on our call today is not where the recognition ends, of course, because Tedious has earned themselves a USDC prize from the contribution contest rewards pool. Vexar will also pick up 250 USDC from the documentation contest. And we need to provide a special round of applause for Zulkis, who is not only responsible for a number of development projects on Autonomous, who could forget Submail, of course, but is also one of our most prolific translators. They racked up an incredible 3,419 words last month, which takes the 50 USDC translation contest prize. Well done, Zulkis. Well done, everyone. A massive thank you to everyone who contributed last month. Whether you submitted a PR, translated a sentence, or helped a fellow developer, you are the reason Autonomous keeps growing and improving. We value all contributions, no matter how big or small. Your dedication and hard work make our community thrive. So just keep being awesome, Autonomous community. And now I'm going to hand back over to Emil, who is going to talk us through some Hacker Month 2 plans, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Emil?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Thank you, Jim. I'm excited to share some of the activities we've been working on to further foster deeper engagement with our developer community and give you a glimpse of what's to come. As we approach our mainnet launch, we'll introduce a brand new test network. The Gemini testnet has served us well, but its era is slowly coming to an end. We're now preparing to launch a fresh playground for testing new features, our upcoming test network, which we've named Taurus. The name Taurus stays in line with our space theme motif, following the pattern we established with Gemini. But beyond just a name, Taurus is going to be a powerful sandbox, offering developers a hands-on environment to build and test across all domains of the Autonomous network. Taurus will be the perfect starting point for developers to experiment with new features. All domains of the Autonomous ecosystem will be deployed on this new network. Developers can take advantage of the Auto SDK to interact with the key features like the Auto ID domain, Auto Drive, as well, of course, as the consensus chain. Additionally, we'll be rolling out a brand new Nova EVM domain within Taurus, allowing developers to write, test, and deploy Solidity smart contracts in a familiar Ethereum-like environment, but with all the enhanced capabilities that Autonomous offers, of course. Once Taurus is live, we've got some fantastic events lined up to kickstart the developer ecosystem. Of course, we're going to start the Hacker Month 2. Our signature event for developers is coming back, bigger and better. Expect some exciting partnership announcements, along with the Q&A sessions where you'll get direct insights from industry leaders. There will also be hands-on workshops focused on building applications that leverage our EVM domain, consensus layer, Auto ID, Auto Drive, everything building using the Auto SDK. At the same time, we'll be hosting our very first Autonomous Hackathon. We are still finalizing the details, but rest assured, it's happening. This will be an excellent opportunity for developers to dive deep into the network and start building applications that are fast, infinitely scalable, and ready for the real-world use cases. Both Hacker Month 2 and our hackathon will give developers the perfect opportunity to test drive the Autonomous network, experiment with its robust toolkit, and start preparing for our full domains launch early next year. Yeah, exciting times are definitely ahead for all developers. Whether you're interested in testing out the latest features in Taurus, participating in workshops, or competing in our hackathon, there is something for everyone. We're incredibly excited to embark on this journey with you. I cannot wait to see what you are going to build on top of the Autonomous network. Buckle up and join us as we shape the future of the decentralized development together. Thank you very much. And I believe this doesn't end here. There is few other roadmap updates that we would love to share with you. So I hand it back over to Jim.
Thanks, Emil. Wonderful. I'm ready. I'm going to buckle up. I'm really excited about us kind of kicking off our builder outreach proper, and Hacker Month 2 and upcoming hackathon are super exciting for me personally. I can't wait. I really can't wait. And I think that having the SDK available is going to make development so much easier. It really frees people up to realize their dreams. Your imagination is the limit when you haven't got to worry about all the boilerplate of low-level function calls. So yeah, I can't wait. Thanks, Emil. Okay, so as Emil mentioned, it's time for a roadmap update because it's been a little while since we checked in on our roadmap slide. So we're going to take some time to see how things have been progressing. I can see in the chat that we've got some questions. You're quite right, Ula, and Asen. I think you're gonna get some answers in this section. So let's see how things have been progressing with all the tasks we need to cover before we're ready to launch mainnet phase 1. I have another slide here. So this is the roadmap that we've shared previously. You can see I've updated it here with some colors, but before we take a look at the wider view, I want to look at this slide here where we can focus on exactly where we are at the moment. So running top to bottom, left to right, as usual, we can see that some of our boxes have shifted to complete, as denoted by them now being colored gray. First up, we ended the incentivized testnet on the 18th of September, which unblocked us for calculating final allocations so they can be built into the chain spec. Next, the Genesis data contest saw many varied submissions, thanks to our wonderful community. Judging is currently underway, but we have passed the data set over to engineering, who are currently, and I mean as we speak, testing the seeding process on our internal DevNet. The community rewards audit was kicked off a couple of weeks ago with the foundation hosting a set of preview data on their GitHub. Today, I am very excited to announce that the Astral Rewards Checker is now available too. Right, I don't want you all running off and checking your wallets, but I am going to drop the link in the chat there because you can find the rewards checker there. There is a forum post explaining some very small changes from the preview sheets data here, which you can also peruse if you subscribe to the announcements channel on the forum. It's probably in your email box. But I can explain what's in there anyway, what's in that post. So first of all, the data in Astral has been calculated to a higher degree of precision than the 2 decimal places that were present in the preview spreadsheets. This, of course, gives us more accurate figures than before. Second, to keep things simple and ensure fairness, everyone's final reward balance has been rounded up to the nearest whole token. That's right, free token. The Foundation repository has been updated to host this final data in addition to the original preview spreadsheets to ensure transparency. So you can see the original preview sheets and you can see this consolidated report that gives you the final figure. It's got everything. Before, we didn't have the Aries joined in. We didn't have the stake wars joined in. We just had the Gemini phases in there. They were all in separate spreadsheets. This one sheet now that is available on the GitHub repo and is the data in the back end of Astral. Everything's all consolidated into a single place, so you can get your final figure. And as I say, it's got greater accuracy, and the final figure that you'll see has been rounded up to the closest to the next whole token. So, as before, please do check your wallets and report any questions or discrepancies to the team. That can be on Discord here where we are today, or via email if you prefer privacy. My emails are always open, jim@autonomous.xyz. Note that there is a pinned message in the general chat channel here in Discord again with a list of frequently asked questions and their answers. They're based on some feedback that we saw from the preview sheets. Remember, this is important. Remember that the balances will be baked into the change spec and cannot be changed after launch. So everyone is responsible for ensuring they have checked their allocations beforehand. And I just want to thank everyone for your support and diligence so far in this process. It's another step closer to mainnet we're taking together. So we should see that community rewards audit is it's underway, and I think it's going to run right up to when we have the change spec finalized. Moving down to the foundation track, our green track there, we can see that there are still some outstanding tasks. But first, the foundation has a website. It is a rough MVP, a minimum viable product, but it will serve us until we get something a bit snazzier put together with our design agency. You can see it at subspace.foundation. Ambassadors have been contacted to confirm their identities, which is the first step to setting up their vesting contracts on mainnet Nova in phase 2. So this ambassador agreements process, we do expect it to last through mainnet phase 1 launch, and it does not impact our ability to deliver the launch. The 1% of total token supply allocated as rewards to the ambassador program will be held in escrow by the foundation until we are ready to kick off distribution. So while it's still lit up, it's not actually a dependency for launch. Tokenomics are still outstanding. So ensuring that every stakeholder is accounted for accurately is a complicated process, and allocations are being cemented. We also want to make sure that the charts we provide look suitably professional. So they're going through a round of iterations with our design partners right now. We've also been acting on initial feedback from project advisors on their presentation. So there are still some very small details to be worked out, but you can expect an update to be coming from the foundation soon. On the product side, we can see that great progress has been made. Everything is great. So the Astral refresh was completed a while ago now. Obviously, the dependency is not so critical as we pivoted from using. Obviously, Astral is required for running Stake Wars 2, but we're actually pushing Stake Wars 2 now. Is going to run between mainnet phase 1 launch and mainnet phase 2. And it's going to run on that new persistent test net called Taurus that Emil spoke on earlier. The Astral Rewards checker has been delivered today, as per my earlier announcement. And I know he's in the crowd offering advice. In fact, yeah, he's been very vocal. So we have to absolutely give a special shout out to Mark for getting this over the line. He's the reason we've got it. He's been going above and beyond, putting the hours in here. We should all give him a pat on the back and a round of applause, really. GPU plotting support is marked as complete. So we do acknowledge that not all the cards we want to support eventually are covered right now, but getting them supported will be an ongoing process. And community testing and feedback is critical to making that happen. What we have right now, of course, is an official open source GPU plotter that has wider support and is more performant than any of the third-party ones we've been made aware of. Finally, protocol engineering. So I've added a couple of boxes here, as you can see. We need to cover our test space races. First, we ran the Nano Space Race last week. Anyone who attended will have seen that we had a visit from the live demo gremlins. We did struggle to bring the timekeeper up at first, but it wasn't all bad news because after that it was pretty plain sailing. The rest of the infrastructure all came up without a hitch, and our farmers were able to join the network just fine. In fact, they smashed the modest space race target of around 50 gigabytes at the first solution range adjustment. Again, round of applause. Thank you for everyone who participated. And it's time for some more alpha. We're going to drop on this call because I want to announce that we will be running a follow-up micro space race on our farmer office hours next week. Now, listen carefully, everyone, because this will follow the exact same format, but will likely have a different space pledge target. I have been told that the outcome of that micro space race will dictate whether we are able to confirm our provisional mainnet phase 1 launch date of the following Wednesday. You heard it here first. If and only if all goes well next week, we will be shooting for Wednesday, the 30th of October to launch. It comes heavily caveated. I've promised Daria that I'm not going to, this is dependent, of course, on everything going absolutely perfectly. We've been quite, well, not lucky, but, it's testament to the diligence of the team. But so far, we haven't hit any problems to hit we're going to launch in October. We do, of course, reserve the right to amend that date if there are any unforeseen problems or surprises. But as always, we will maintain transparency on what the hold-up is and when we expect it to be resolved. Remember, there is no better way to learn how the launch will work and therefore how to prepare for it than participating in these dress rehearsals. So everyone on the call, I know this is developer office hours, but any farmers catching up on this video later, I would heavily suggest you participate in the micro space race if you want to understand how mainnet launch is going to look. Okay, moving on. The white paper is now scheduled to be released shortly after phase 1. We remain extremely excited to share this with you, but it is not a blocker for mainnet launch. And at the bottom there, we can see I have updated the continuous protocol audit to complete. Again, I've had to promise Daria that I would highlight a few caveats here. The consensus audit of the mainnet release will be complete. That was her words. There is still an ongoing audit of the domains code, which of course will be worked on in preparation for their release in phase 2. And because of that, any code changes will be continuously reviewed. We don't want to give the impression that we will just close this report and finished and stop audits. That is not the case. There will still be audits on code changes, but we are in a place where consensus has been audited. So to summarize the highlights here, we need you to continue the community rewards audit by checking the data in Astral. The success of the micro space race next week will be a very strong indicator of our readiness to launch on the 30th. And team are working through the last few items required to do that. And if we zoom back out slightly to see what happens after the purple box again, you can see that we will be planning a launch party, something that us in the community team are very excited about, where we're going to have a proof of time seed ceremony, and the foundation will lead the launch of phase 1. Any questions? Hopefully I've answered some questions in this section, but any questions, we're going to have a Q&A as usual at the end of the call. And thanks everyone. Back to Emil and one of our Big Bang initiatives.
Thank you very much, Jim, for sharing all the updates. Pretty sure that everyone on the call is very, very excited about what's coming. I just wanted to spend like literally 2 minutes and do a quick reminder for all developers that we have an ongoing contest, Space Race Plotometer, which is a key milestone in our journey towards mainnet rewards. Your mission is to create a custom website that visually tracks pledge storage in real time. Imagine like a thermometer that fills up as the more space is pledged. Once it reaches its goal, rewards are unlocked for everyone. It's the end of the space race. So in order to participate, we kindly ask you to build your Plotometer website using our demo repo, which I'm going to just put in the chat. Or feel free to use the Auto SDK and build your own website, your own repo from scratch. And add some creative touches. Work on a cool CSS, add some cool graphics. So make everything so that your project stand out. And submit the link to your project in Discord, in the developer chat, using hashtag using the hashtag SpaceRacePlotometer. The best project voted by the Autonomys team will get 500 USDC. But there is a bonus quest. Predict the space race end date for a chance to win exclusive Autonomys merch. In order to submit your prediction and in order to submit your guess, use the hashtag SpaceRaceDurationPrediction and post your message also in the developer chat on our Discord. Good luck, and we cannot wait to see your creations. I think that rounds up the agenda for the day, so we're ready to jump right into the Q&A session.
Thanks, Emil. I always used to be a fan of the guess the number of jelly beans in the jar. I think I'm going off on a tangent here a little bit, but guessing the day we're going to crack the space race target gives me similar vibes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So do you mind if I take Ula's question, Emil? It's kind of related to the roadmap.
Absolutely, of course.
Okay, so Ula asks, according to the original roadmap, the economic model, Astral Reward Checker, Subspace Foundation webpage, Autonomous white paper, and other things need to be released before the mainnet. Can these be completed in 2 weeks? There are only 2 weeks until the end of the month. Can we successfully get on the mainnet before the end of the month? Great questions, Ula. Hopefully I have answered your question there, but please do come back if there is any follow-up. Essentially, yeah, we think we're in a great position to hit our target. And remember, we're going to launch when we're ready. We're not going to launch beforehand. We're not going to launch to someone's schedule because they have to go on holiday or we launch the network when we're ready. And as I say, tuning in and participating in the micro space race next Wednesday is the best thing you could possibly do to help us hit that target. But yeah, thanks, Ula. Thanks for the question.
The next couple of questions are also related to the mainnet launch. They are from Asen. How many days will it take to reach the mainnet? And the second question is, I want to know if the mainnet can be launched this week.
Asen, if we were ready, we'd love to launch this week. Let me know if anything got lost in translation. Our plans are that next Wednesday we're going to run a micro space race. And if that goes well, then we are going to shoot for the 30th. again, heavily caveated that if it doesn't go well, we need to take the time to make sure we really understand what the problem is and fix it. Okay. Vex,
And I would love to highlight the comment from Mark. Mark is an engineer in the product team who is hugely responsible for working on the Auto SDK. He said, "Don't hesitate to tell us all features, functions, or anything else you would like to see part of our SDK, or if you experience frictions or bugs." Yeah, as usual, everyone at Autonomous is all ears about your feedback. So if you have anything to say, please do ping us in the developer chat or anywhere. We're more than happy to take a look at the bug or your feature request and implement it.
Excellent. Okay, I think Vex has asked a slightly tongue-in-cheek question. He's asked when mainnet. Okay. So as everyone saw, I've got a meeting at school because it popped up on the slides. So unless anyone's got any further questions, maybe we can wrap up a little bit early. What do you say, Emil?
Yeah, I don't see any further questions. Yeah, so we can definitely wrap up. As we come to an end of today's call, I want to take a moment to reflect on our incredible journey we went together. We've made some significant strides from the progress with the Auto SDK to the exciting activities around the upcoming launch. Your feedback, contributions, and support have helped shape Autonomous into the vibrant, innovative ecosystem it is today. A big thank you to everyone who joined us live today and actively participated in the conversation. Your engagement fuels us to keep pushing forward and building the best possible platform for developers, builders, and innovators. Looking ahead, we've got some exciting milestones on the horizon. As Jim pointed out, the final dress rehearsal of the mainnet is going to be held next week, with the full-scale launch of Phase 1 of the Autonomous Network planned by the end of the month, if the microspace race goes well. Exciting times are coming, and we're happy to be on the journey with you. With the upcoming launch of the Taurus testnet, you will have the perfect playground to experiment with the new features across all Autonomous domains. Plus, the return of HackerMonth 2 and our first ever hackathon offer incredible opportunities for you to get hands-on, collaborate, and create. These events will set the stage for building real-life, scalable applications on our network as we approach the full domains launch in the Phase 2 early next year. Thank you once again for being a part of today's call and for your continued dedication to Autonomous. Stay tuned to our social for the latest updates, and we cannot wait to see you at our next event. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, everyone.